Good evening, YouTube, and welcome back to another episode here at WILDMAN Lifts. I'm your host, WILDMAN. Now, on today's episode, I know that I said I was doing linear progression on a normal barbell, but I needed to mix that up. So I'm trying to focus more on building my deadlift up and getting back into lifting stones again. And I can't think of a better variation lift to do than the SSB wide hands squat. Now, if you've seen my videos in the past, you know I can actually lift this for a lot of weight. However, since I haven't lifted this in a very long time, since my surgery, I'm gonna have to creep back into this nice and slow. So for today's giant set, we're gonna be doing the SSB wide hand squat. I'm gonna try to do some pull-ups today. And if I need help, then I'll do them assistant just to try to get that bicep back in that motion again. And of course, I'll be doing some type of other explosive movement to really make sure that I'm getting the most out of my workout. Now, this lift is designed to really throw all the weight forward, and you have to use your upper back to fight it back. And that really carries over a lot into deadlifting, but more particularly into stone lifting, which is why I love to do this lift. So let's pop in and I'll show you how it works. So on today's giant set, we're doing the SSB wide hand squat, which is what I showed you earlier when I was lifting heavier weight back in the day. This is just a great movement to do all around. It really targets your upper back and your legs are gonna light up like a Christmas tree. So it's one of my favorite variations to do when it comes to the back squat. And then we're also gonna do pull-ups for the very first time today, I know. And this felt very weird and awkward, but I was able to do it. Previously, I was unable to do pull-ups. So this was a fantastic test of progression. And then I'm also going to be jumping over the bench in an explosive movement pattern for about 3 reps. And that's going to be the giant set for the day. Now, really, the back squat is a very different movement than the SSB squat. So don't think to yourself for a second that if you just get good at doing wide hands SSB squats, that's going to automatically carry over into the back squats. Those are 2 very different movements. And I highly recommend that the back squat with a barbell takes precedence over a lift like this. Now, I'm not using this bar the way that it was designed to do. It was designed to actually have handles out in the front, and you keep your hands out in front of your chest. Then you can actually push up on the handles, and the bar will go further back and will help you get out of the hole and stand up erect with it. But ironically enough, I actually got shoulder problems from doing SSB squats the way that they were designed. It wasn't until I was looking on YouTube how to use it that people who had the similar problems that I had either got ones that were curved on the padding so that it fits into your shoulder a little bit better and won't impinge your shoulder, or they actually put their hands out wide like this. And putting your hands out wider like this makes it a lot harder because you don't have that stability in the front when you're on the bottom of the lift to get you out of the hole by moving the bar backwards. Instead, when the bar gets heavier, then you have to push back a lot more, and you can't use your hands to help you like you can when you normally use the SSB bar the way it's supposed to be. So this movement actually carries over very well into deadlifting because that's kind of the same motion, and for stone lifting. And those are 2 very natural movements. So it really does help out those movements more than it does your back squat. But in turn, because I'm doing 6 reps today for a 6 rep max, I'm actually going to be feeling this for like a whole week in my legs because this is very hard on your body. But it's an absolutely necessary movement if you want to get better all around in your strength. So I must say that this whole entire workout was going very well. I was feeling a little weird on the pull-ups, but I was able to do it. Before, I couldn't even pull myself up. So the fact I could do it for 3 was working out very nicely. Now, I apologize for my top set here. I was trying to get a really cool short video to do for YouTube, and I didn't realize that I was actually screwing up the entire thing. But this is 290 pounds with the SSB bar, and I'm going for 6. And I ended up doing 5 instead, which is perfectly fine because I was only supposed to do 240 today with the SSB. And so since I'm doing 290, that's 50 pounds more. So I was very excited that this was able to go up. And it was very hard, of course, because you can see how much that pitches forward. There's no handles in the front to kick it back, right, to make it more neutral as you come out of the hole. Putting your hands out wide like that really throws all the weight to the front, and you have to fight it back, which again, it's perfect for strongman lifting. So that's why I do it. It's a safe way to overload it as well. Okay, so that went very well. I was supposed to hit, I think, 270 pounds today on the SSB wide hand squats, but I loaded it to 290 instead and was able to get 5 reps. So I will take that any day over the 270 pounds for 6 reps. And I was able to do pull-ups for the very first time since my surgery. And I must say, I felt a lot of instability in this bicep. So this needs to be worked out a little bit harder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip this down to 150 pounds, and I'm going to carry it for 30 meters around the bullpen for my variation giant set, while continuing to do pull-ups and continuing to do my bench jump overs. So let's pop into that right now. Now for the variation giant set, I'm just basically subbing out the SSB wide hand squat for a loaded front carry with the SSB bar. This is a great implement to use to overload a carry, because stones and kegs can actually weigh a lot less, but are actually awkward. And so it makes it that you have to lessen the weight in order to carry it. So in this case, when I have a good arm, I'm able to carry a lot more weight. But in this case, I was just trying to get back into the familiarity of the movement again and to work that bicep a little bit more because it needs more stability, and to work my legs in a different way. And I also just maintained doing my pull-ups and the jumping over the bench as well. And for the assistance giant set, I continued to do pull-ups and I continued to do the jumping over the bench. The only thing that I changed was weighted Bulgarian squats. I've been doing these in the pool for a lot of reps, so I felt comfortable now doing them freestyle, but freestyle was actually too easy. So I decided to do it holding these kettlebells in each hand, which really changed the movement a lot. And this was the first round that I did, but after 3, I was standing much more erect. But I didn't film those parts, so I apologize. But this is a great movement to do on leg day. And now for the accessory giant set, I was doing 3 rounds, and I was doing some therapy movements that I learned, which is to supinate that elbow where that bicep was reattached. And so that's why I'm doing this. And I have a 2.5 pound stone that I like to use, just because it's different in shape. So I'm able to kind of manipulate it in different ways so that I'm hitting different fibers within the muscle of my elbow. And I did hitchhikers, which is a variation of a face pull, which is something I love to do to keep my shoulders healthy and all around stable. And I ended with some flutter kicks to hit those lower abs and to hold that in a static hold so that I'm getting the most out of the exercise when it comes to core work. And that was the workout for the day. Well, that went swimmingly. And speaking of swimmingly, I'm gonna go jump in the pool right now and do some rehab moves that I learned in physical therapy so I can continue to get better and make sure everything is balanced. And I'm gonna swim some laps to get some conditioning in as well. Thanks for joining me this evening, and I'll catch you next time. Thank you.